Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020, and it's time for another week of World Championship Wrestling as we're on the road to Starrcade, starting off on Nitro in beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, as the Youngsters put over a big main event after what happened last week between Brother Rey and Shane Helms. This is Get 71, then we go right to the ring for our opening contest. As in a big-time Fatal 4-Way match, four members of the Cruiserweight division go, off on each other, as it's Austin Aries, Atuga, Great Suzuki, and Shannon Moore flying around. Sort of your basic opening cruiserweight match. It goes a little over 10 minutes. Suzuki gets his spots in, Atuga gets kits in, Moore basically gets, his ass kicked. But eventually Austin Aries is able to, maneuver around, hit the big brainbuster, and then hit the 450 splash on Great Suzuki to get the pinfall victory here to open up Nitro in a 52. Aries gets a 56, Hidaka gets a 61, Suzuki gets a 68, Moore gets a 50. Moore's gimmick is getting stale, but he's Shane Moore, so I don't really care. But a big one here for Austin Aries, and afterwards he takes the belt, not the belt, but mic, and says, well, just look at that. Another big victory for me, Austin Aries, the future of this business. I have already teamed with a legend like Eddy Guerrero and proven I'm right on his level. And I'm tired of waiting. What I want is another shot at my Cruiserweight Championship. You can see, Reckless Roberts, I helped you out before, but that was business. And this is business too, because I'm going to put my hands back on that belt as soon as you're ready, or whether it's you or your sister, is ready to accept the challenge and face the real number one contender for that title and get in that ring at Starrcade. Then out comes Eric Bischoff to big, mixed pop as he's Eric Bischoff. And, Bischoff says, Austin, you talk a big game, but as the man in charge of Nitro, it's my job to make things interesting. To create new things for Starrcade, to create new opportunities, new challenges, and new legacies in that ring. So, in 3 weeks at Starrcade, it's true. You will be in the match for the Cruiserweight Championship against Reckless Roberts. But it's not just going to be you. And Aries like, yeah, Ignition, Cruiserweight ladder match. Fine. I'll get that ring. I don't care. But Eric says, no. You see, when you need to lead WCW like I do, you need to innovate and create new things. So, at Starrcade, what's going to happen is there's going to be you, WCW Cruiserweight Champion Reckless Roberts, and other fine competitors in that ring. 6 of you, in fact. But there's not going to be ladder in that ring. What's going to happen is this. High over the ring will be the Cruiserweight Championship belt, as you imagine. But here's the twist. There are no ladders. Can't win by pinfall or submission. You can't knock anybody out. The only way to win is climb across a web of steel cables and retrieve that championship and get back to the belt. Get back to the ring. And believe me, this will be going to be no ordinary match. It'll be a test of endurance, a test of agility, and a test of just how much you're willing to risk to be Cruiserweight champion. It's going to be a match you've never been a part of because no one's been a part of it. It's going to be high wire havoc. And, Aries is like, fine. High wire havoc, what do you want to call it? Think some cables are going to stop me from becoming Cruiserweight champion, Bischoff? No, you just made what's an opportunity an absolute possibility. I'm going to begin the era of Austin Aries as Cruiserweight champion. And so let's get to 69 because Aries is Aries and Bischoff rolled badly, but fun stuff. Basically, it's an Ultimate X match, but we're rewording it, but a big match. Because honestly, I have another idea as far as the ladder goes for I don't want two ladder matches at Starrcade. So let's get 69, good stuff. Obviously, move forward. And I forgot to mark Shane Helms off screen. That's my bad. So just they're talking about Shane Helms. He's not actually here. Anyway, Brother Rey is, getting ready for his main event match later tonight against Shane Helms, and Bill Goldberg comes in, and Goldberg says he's willing to back up Brother Rey tonight, and Brother's like, look, I appreciate it, but I'm my own man. I do my own battles, whether it's in the streets or anywhere else. And Bill, points out, he used to be a member of a tag team, and Brother Rey says, yeah, that was the past, this is now. Look, it's nothing personal, but I don't care, I don't care what your deal with this Helms. This is my match tonight, and I'm going to win it. I'm going to kick some ass and take some names. Because I'm a street fighter, and I'm going to prove it once again tonight right here on Nitro. And Goldberg says, okay. Basically, says, he'll let him fight his own battles, and there we go. So this gets an 82. Good stuff, basically setting up the main event later tonight. And then we go back, and then we're backstage where Jeremy Borash is with your WWE World Team Champions Ninkyo, as he basically asked her about Tag Team Turmoil, and if she's worried about women having to face competitor after competitor possibly if they don't draw the right number. And Stacy basically brushes off, says these are the most talented men in tag team wrestling today. It doesn't matter if we have to face one team, two team, three teams, throw the whole entire tag team division at us. These men are men of absolute drive, absolute intensity, and absolute skill. Whoever walks into Tag Team tomorrow, it doesn't matter, because we will still walk out as WCW World Tag Team Champions. So it's just your standard, cocky heel promo, giving an 80 as we move forward. As you have the first match, which is basically announced as a Tag Team Turmoil qualifier as Gym Tam Wrestling of Romeo Rosselli and Tony Santarelli take on Toland Leppan. And back and forth match, pretty decent, solid match here, but nothing too special. Just two tag teams doing tag team stuff. Toland Leppan did get to do some heel stick. Romy Rossi gets a hot tag. Tony Santarelli gets a hot tag here on the tag team side. Does some brawling and fighting. But eventually, Tank nails Santarelli with the tank turret and gets the pretty much, there's some heel shenanigans as far as false tags and everything. But basically, he's just, overwhelmed. It's a tank turret on Tony Santarelli and gets a pinfall victory here on Nitro to advance his team into the Tag Team Turmoil. This gets a 68. Santarelli gets a 47. Rossi gets a 56. Leppan gets a 70. Toland gets a 63. Good stuff, and yeah, pretty straightforward here as the heels celebrate after the match as the answers put over. Toland Leppan are on their own, and the opportunity to make a big mark at Starrcade. Then we're backstage where Jeremy Borash is with Shane Helms and his bodyguard Titus Tomko, as he asks him about the match later tonight against Brother Rey. And he reminds Borash he is the greatest United States champion of all time, a former WCW World Champion, and right here on Nitro, it's just not going to be a spectacle, a main event. It's going to be a reminder that nobody is better than me, Shane Helms. Brother Rey, you say you're a fighter, you've been on the streets and all that, but that doesn't matter when it gets in the ring. It's about technical skill, ability, and the ability to knock somebody out with a super kick. You see, Brother Rey, you can do all you want, and you're a talented SOB, but you're not as good as the greatest United States champion of all time. And if you get two out of the way, I got my man here, Titus Tomko. A man who's been bodyguarded some of the biggest names that you can think about. Celebrities, businessmen, politicians, dictators, whoever you think, he's been the man behind them, and now he's right here beside me. And Goldberg, if you want to get involved, well, you'll get Tomko'd. Because nothing's going to derail the hype train of Shane Helms here on Nitro. Nobody walks away unscathed. You may think and Brother Rey, you may think you've got what it takes to hang with me, but let's not forget who you're dealing with. I've been a world champion and the greatest United States champion of all time, and after I defeat you tonight, there won't be a shadow of a doubt left in anybody's mind. So, cocky heel promo, based on Goldberg get out of the business, pushing up Helms. 80, good stuff as we move forward. And then we go backstage, where the six men, as they talk about being in a six-man match against the Chosen Few later tonight, Anderson, says too bad about, Truth losing the U.S. title. Truth says, he's going to get his revenge on Jindrak one way or the other. And, he's ready to, kick some ass, and his, cocky, throws out a quick little rap. But here's a little more intense. It says, they've got to be focused. Chosen Few may be, baby jackasses, but they're talented jackasses who've been teaming together, for a long time now. And we're just three men together. So we got to be ready, and we got to be unified and ready to kick some ass. And then Anderson says, no, what you got to be ready to be is an asshole. Because that's the way you get to the top. Kicking ass, taking names, and not doing and not stopping for nobody. So are you guys ready to get behind the only champion here standing tonight and whoop some ass and take some names? And, O'Hare says he's ready to take a future shock. Truth does a little rap, and they seem united as we move on to the next part of the show, as this gets an 85. Good stuff. And then we have a backstage segment where we're in the nest, where we have, Raven, Morningstar, Morgan, Messias, and the Prophet. And, Raven basically says, I've talked to Bischoff, and he's gladly given us 2 opportunities for the tag team promo. You see, I've decided that while you and Messias, as he points to Morningstar, were one-time champions, I have a better plan. And as my servant, you need to follow me. You see, I already entered myself and Messias into Tag Team Turmoil. As a former Tag Team champion, Messias has been giving a buy into that battle without qualifying. Morningstar seems upset, but Morgan whispers something in his ear and he calms down. And then Raven says, calm down. You see, Morningstar, as my servant, you will team with the Prophet, and you will battle in a match next week to qualify. And then that'll be 2 opportunities for us in Tag Team Turmoil to walk out as the victors. Do you understand my plan? Morningstar nods and says yes. Basically, yes, Raven says, after Starrcade, we will be champions once again and wreak havoc on this division. Quote the Raven, nevermore. So again, still plenty of tension because, of course, Morningstar basically still hates Raven, but he has to be a servant because of the War Games decision. And Messias is Messias, and Prophet is back, and there we go. 88, fun stuff, and yeah, setting up a match basically for next week. Against you, we'll just have to, watch. And we have a big match here as Jack Evans takes on Jason Jett in a fun little, basically put over Jack Evans match. I mean, this is basically what this is. Just, Jack Evans facing against tougher competition. Flies around. Jason Jett gets to do his, heel stick, being a, jerk. Hitting a few big moves, maybe even going for the bankroll or the money clip. But Evans eventually, hits his big moves. Big dive, big springboard DT, running bulldog, big, running senton. And eventually it's a senton 1-on-1 to get the huge pinfall victory over Jason Jett here on Nitro. This gets an 80. Evans gets a 92. Jett gets a 74. But then Eddy Guerrero is ready, and he runs in, and he goes after Evans. But as, Eddie knocks him down. But as he goes for a brainbuster, Evans slips out, kicks Eddie into the corner, hits a big sort of like modified belly back suplex, sends Eddie over the top, and hits a big dive on Guerrero before those officials break him up. As he just put over, these 2 men are ready to go against each other. And this gets an 80, and it's basically announced after the match, coming back for commercial, that officially at Starrcade, it is going to be Jack Evans versus Eduardo Guerrero. And then we're back from the commercial as Jerry Rush is with the Hardys, and he basically, asks them if they're going to go over to Revolution and, accept AMW's challenge. And, the Hardys say, look, again, we've made it perfectly clear. We've got nothing personal to go with AMW. But if Chris and James have a problem with us, we'll go over to Revolution and talk to them. If they want to fight, we'll be ready to fight. But, we're always in favor of competition, and we want to prove we're the best tag team on the planet. So yeah, we're happy to go over to Revolution and talk to them. But they have to remember, we're the best tag team in the world for a reason. And if they think they can beat us 1-on-1, 2-on-2 in a match, that's fine. But they're going to remember, Ryan did, why we have been champions wherever we go. Strong babyface promo as this gets an 83. Fun stuff. And then, before the next match, out come the chosen few. And, basically, Jindrak says, embrace the magnificence of me, Mark Jindrak, your United States champion. Bow down to my greatness. And, Jared Thompson says, Slapnuts, listen up. What's going to happen is just a reminder of what happens when you get in our way. Simply Johnny Vine, the new US champion, and me, the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett. O'Hare, you want to talk about the future? Well, you're going to be about soon with part of past Slapnuts. And the truth, you can yap all you want, but my man kicked your ass and won the US title. And Ken Anderson, Slapnuts, you want to talk about being an a-hole? Well, I got a guitar waiting for you. So 83, good little in-ring promo as out come the babyfaces. And this match is actually really good. Okay. So, fun stuff. I mean, this is your pretty much your standard issue 6-man, like really good version of it. Like, Anderson brawls, O'Haire does his power stuff, The Truth, gets his corkscrew elbows, does his blitz and, punching, Divine flies around a bit, Jindrak gets to do his power stuff, Jarrett does his shield brawling shtick, and eventually things break down, as you'd imagine, as it's Anderson, Truth going after Jindrak, Jarrett and O'Haire actually brawling. Oh, no, sorry, Jarrett and Anderson brawling, Truth going after Jindrak, and that leaves Sean O'Haire in the ring with Simply Johnny Divine. And as you're probably not surprised, that doesn't go well for Johnny Divine. He gets a little bit of offense in. Eventually, O'Haire takes over. Clothesline, power slam, Widowmaker, 1, 2, 3. And your winners are the babyfaces of Anderson, O'Haire, and The Truth. This gets an 87. Divine gets a 66. Jindrak gets a 76. Jarrett gets a 93. Truth gets a 69 because he's injured. O'Haire gets an 81. Anderson gets an 82. And yeah, the fight continues where WCW officials break things apart. This gets a 99, and it's just fighting all over. O'Haire actually gets wiped out soon by Jarrett as he's, top down Anderson. But Anderson comes in, hits Jarrett with the Kenton bomb, but then Jindrak goes to knock him down with the TV title, with the US title, but Truth, saves him. Things break down, and, Truth actually goes for a big corkscrew elbow, but Divine gets out of the way, and he actually knocks down O'Haire. But as he goes to help down O'Haire, Jarrett comes from behind, and things, keep on going until the officials break things apart, as this gets a 99. Fun stuff. And then we have a Revolution keypad focusing on the 100, match on the Revolution, because it was great. 72. There we go. And I believe it's the main event, or there might be another promo before this. Let's see here. No, okay, good stuff. So, this is a very, very, very good match. Basically, storyline is, Helms wants to, sort of prove himself against the big guy, as he's challenging Goldberg. Brother Ray wants, after becoming this close to being world champion, wants to refocus himself. So back and forth match, some brawling to start. Brother Ray takes advantage, throws Helms around. Tomko gets involved. They fight a bit, but Brother Ray gets a spot on him. But that allows Helms to take back over. Works on Brother Ray's back and knees, slows him down, keeps him on the mat. Ray fights back, eventually eats a super kick for a near fall, eats another one for a near fall. Helms goes for the Nightmare on Helm Street. Brother Ray gets out of the way. Big sort of big shoulder block or spear. Picks him up for a big sort of power bomb. But Helms gets his foot on the ropes. Tomko tries to get involved again. Helms from behind. And eventually, Helms goes for a super kick. Brother gets out of the way. Ref goes down, and unfortunately for him, that means Tomko has time to come in. Big boot, Tomko cutter, Nightmare from Helm Street. 1, 2, 3. Shane Helms picked the victory over Brother Ray. A little 14 minutes, 86. Shane Helms gets an 81. Brother Ray gets an 88, and the beatdown is on until Bill Goldberg makes a save to a big pop as he clears the ring. But as he helps Brother Ray up, Brother Ray looks a little askance at him as this gets a 99, as Helms and Tomko are upset on the outside. 91 overall. Very good show. Not our best show ever. But, solid stuff, moving things forward. Again, it's going to be a little weird because most of, the main event Palumbo style stuff will be on Revolution. But, we're going to do something on it, just to remind people, hey, that's the main event. Please, if you don't watch Revolution for some reason, fun stuff like that. Okay, as we build things up here. Gotta love the loading. Gotta love the loading. All right. So there's some spoilings as far as a night on Raw, as far as possibly some sightings and such. So I'm not going to show you that. All I'm going to say is it got a 78. The show itself only got a 78. The only really good match, just because of the weird booking it did. And it was a close we got in the ratings, as it got a 2.59 and we got a 2.55. So there you go, interesting stuff. But yeah, WCW setting their sights, fun stuff. But yeah, nothing really much of note. Small time indie wrestling from London. Nobody of note at all. Are these new? I mean, I guess that's a new real person. No, that's not a new person. That's a regen who I actually found a picture for. I think. Actually, now I'm curious. Is this a regen? I think this is a regen. Yes. No, okay. She's not a regen. She just looks like one of the random people who would be a regen. Okay. Anyway, I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. And welcome to Revolution, live from Wichita, Kansas, for basically a sold-out crowd, a little bit under 16,000 people. As the show starts out with Chuck Palumbo coming out and, doing his usual spiel. He's the WCW World Champion. The road to Starrcade goes through him, and he's not just the headliner. He's the whole damn story because he is the champion. And, Styles, you're a great athlete. That's the key word, an athlete. You see, I'm a champion. And as great as you are, greatness is not enough to take this title away from me. So, you're flying around, have your fun little match with Jamie Knoble tonight. But when you're done with that, realize that you're just that much closer to losing at Starrcade and choking away your title shot. Out comes Styles and says, basically easier to stand there and talk big when you hold that belt, but the belt doesn't make the man makes the belt. And, at Starrcade, I'm going to make that belt phenomenal when I hit you with a Styles Clash and walk out of Starrcade as the new WCW World Champion. And yeah, I got a match with Knoble tonight, and you better be watching that, Chuck, because it's going to be a preview of what's going to happen to you in that ring in Houston. Palumbo fires back, well, we'll just have to see about that, Styles, because you can talk about being phenomenal, about winning the title, but we've never gotten in the ring with a man like me on a roll like I am. And as you fires back, you've never been in the ring with a phenomenal athlete like me, Palumbo. So keep that title warm for your next world champion. Stare down and 96. There you go. Then after that, we get a, announcers cutting to something that happened earlier tonight. As we have ODB, basically, backstage, when European Disunion come in and just kick the shit out of her. Like, just throw her around, just kick the crap out of her. And then he sort of like turned to the camera that showed up and says, Nikita says, as with Union Music, just kicking the crap out of ODB. Joanie, you talk about the evolution of women's wrestling. Look around you. This is evolution. This is what it means to be a champion. I, Nikita Colt, am the true representation of what a women's wrestler should be. Dominant, ruthless, and intense. What you saw here tonight was just a preview of what's to come. You talk about wanting to take back your world championship. You'll need to go through me and my backup here, Busick. And now you don't even have a partner. This was a message. So show up tonight to your tag match and face the wrath of a woman who has ice in her veins. Who doesn't care about your history. Who doesn't care about your greatness. Who realizes that she is the face of this business now. You can be a pioneer, but all I see is somebody clinging to a past that no longer exists. The times have changed, and now European Disunion is setting the standard. So, if you survive tonight, you can find a partner. That's fine. At Starrcade, I plan to show you the world that you're not just a relic from the past, an obstacle that's been permanently removed. So it looks like Joanie Laurer needs find another tag partner for the tag match that was set up last week tonight. This gets to 79, good stuff. And we have our women's tag match last week when Celine Cartier and Alyssa Alexander saved Desiree Dawkins from a 3-on-1 attack, and it's Celine Cartier and Alyssa Alexander versus Lexi James and Lizzie Dumas, and it's a back and forth match, a very solid in-ring match. Everybody's really good. Lexi James is used some, fighting brawling. Lizzie flies around a bit. Alexander hits some big spine busters. Cartier gets to be the, undersized, powerful babyface. But eventually, looks like the heels have the victory, but Angel Fox comes out. And that's just enough distraction for Dumas to actually, be yelling at her as she's on the top rope. Cartier recovers, shakes the ropes. Dumas falls down on the top of the turnbuckle. Cartier picks her up, sees Levy, air raid crash. 1, 2, 3. Big victory for Celine Cartier and all that Alyssa Alexander right here on Revolution. Let's get a 75. Really good stuff. Dumas gets a 69. Jim gets 63, Alexander gets a 56, and Cartier gets a 76. And post-match, the babyfaces celebrate to the cheers of the crowd as it gets a 66, and a big win here on Revolution. And next up, we have a quick little backstage segment as Trevor Slater is trying to talk to his buddies AMW about that he has a match tonight against the US Champion Mark Jindrak, and he wants to make sure that he's going to be there for backup in case the rest of the Chosen Few show up, and basically, and we don't exactly blow him off, but they say look, mate, you'll be fine. We got to talk to the Hardys, so we're getting ready for them, but don't worry, if Chosen Few come up, we'll be right out for you. So 61, just sort of setting everything up. And then you have a backstage segment as the Triumph are basically upset with Teddy Long. You're saying they want another shot at Shelton and Booker. And Teddy Long basically tells them that, Booker and Shelton are now focused on Tag Team Turmoil, which they're going to be a part of, playa. And, Kevin and Storm want to earn a shot into that. But Teddy Long says, no, players, I got another idea for you if you're ready. But I got to announce it next week. Kevin and Storm basically look at each other and say, well, you better have something good for our first Starrcade, because we want to take apart Booker and Shelton sooner or later. So just a little heel segment building up, that Booker and Shelton are officially part of Tag Team Turmoil. Kevin and Storm are pissed at that, and maybe they're not quite done with Booker and Shelton, quite yet. As this gets a 93, good stuff. And then we have Monty Brown killing the Jobber of the Week, Johnny Goodtime, in basically a minute 30. Just a complete destruction. It gets a 60 because Monty gets a 77. And I should have maybe paced it a little better because we're going to have the same basic segment. As Monty is pissed, he's in the ring, says, I am the alpha male. I am the ruler of the Serengeti, and yet I have nothing for Starrcade. I want somebody to come out here to face me, to challenge the alpha male, the most dominant man in WCW, one or the other. And out comes Teddy Long. Teddy Long says, playa, I'm setting up something big for Starrcade, so just be patient until next week. If I don't have something for you next week, hell, you can pounce me, okay, playa? And Monty Brown says, well, that's a promise. And so we have a couple big announcements, seems like, for next week, as this gets an 85. And then we're backstage where Emmy Weber is with Jamie Knoble. And, Jamie Knoble is basically, asked about, facing off against the main event Starrcade tonight, AJ Styles. And, Noble's like, AJ, that's all I hear about. Nobody's talking about me, Jamie Knoble. I'm just assumed to be a stepping stone. Because that's what he's doing. He's using me as a stepping stone, overlooking me. And but here's the reality. That's what I want him to do. You think AJ Styles thinks he's the talk of the wrestling world. He's got his eyes on Starrcade and world title. Think he's just going to waltz through me. But he's got another thing coming. You see, AJ, you're so caught up in your little world of world titles and main events. You're forgotten that I can take you apart. I can throw you around, take you down, and lock you in so many holes that you know what you're getting. It's about getting down and dirty, grit and grind, and taking your opponent down to the mat until he can't get up. And that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight. So AJ, you want to estimate me? That's fine. You're ignoring the threat that I can bring to that ring. You can go talking around about you're going to make history at Starrcade, becoming the world champion, but how are you going to do that when I've tapped you out and made you make the hard choice to either tap out or hear your bones snap and be out of Starrcade? So 84, good promo from Knoble as we set up the main event later tonight. And we have a quick little segment as we have Celine Cartier and all that Alexander backstage, celebrating the title victory. When the social scene show up and say, basically congratulate them. And, Cartier and Alexander point out, they just beat the team that, got the last tag title shots. Social scene's like, we're fighting champions. We're willing to defend our titles against whoever's, necessary. So if you want to party, just get hold of it long and set up the match, because we're always ready to defend these titles or have a good night out. 50, fun little segment as we move forward. Then we have, magnificent Mark Jindrak making his debut here on Revolution as the US Champion, defeating Trevor Slater in a little over 6 minutes. It says with super kick, but, Trevor Slater got a little bit of offense in here early, doing some brawling stuff and, big elbows, big power, big slams, looking a little bit impressive before Jindrak took over, and eventually hits the mark of excellence on Trevor Slater in a little over 6 minutes to get the win. This gets a 70, Jindrak gets a 76, Slater gets a 52, and then, after the match, Jindrak takes the mic and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on true magnificence. I told you I was going to take this US Championship from the Truth, and what did I do? I took it. I'm the standard bearer here in WCW now that I have this belt, along with the chosen few." The Truth, could never reach the level of magnificence that I bring to this title. As we march to Starrcade, I tend to show each and every one of you what a true United States champion looks like, and that nobody can deny what magnificence is in WCW now. And out comes Paul London to the top of the ramp. And, London basically points out, talk about taking that title, but you basically stole that title off the Truth. And Eric says, that's what this game is all about. You do what you need to do to win back the title by any means necessary. But why do you care anyway, London? Should you be still crying and whining about what happened at Bound for Glory? And London says, yeah, I lost at Bound for Glory. But regardless of what I may think about Chuck Palumbo, that was a triple threat match, and we fought hard, and he got the victory. I didn't lose my fighting spirit, and I didn't lose my ability to go after new things. So, you may think you're all that with a new title. Why don't you step to somebody who just had a classic match, and it was this close to becoming the WCW World Champion? Put your magnificence up to the test along with that US Championship. And Jindrak basically laughs them off. You shot at my title? You didn't even win your match at Bound for Glory. Now you think you're worthy of facing me? Please. And Paul basically says, he's scared of facing maybe an actual wrestle and fight him. And, Jindrak says he's not scared of anybody. I'm Magnificent Mark Jindrak, US Champions. But you still got to earn your place. So, stare down, and this gets at 86. Good stuff. And then we have a backstage segment where Joanie Laurer is backstage, and in comes Trisha Sky. And, Trisha Sky basically says, look, I saw what happened at ODB, and it's BS. If you want to part tonight, I have no problems standing in for you. Joanie steps in and says, why do you think I need a partner? Trisha says, look, Joanie, you're a tough woman, but 1-on-2 against 4 women's tag team champions is a death wish. Let me be your partner, and let me kick some ass. I'm not looking to take anything from you. If you want that title shot still, that's fine. But let me show you that the sky's the limit, and let me back you up tonight. He was like, fine, but don't get in my way. 84, good stuff, and it looks like we have a replacement for ODB later tonight. Then we have a, in-ring segment as, Jeff Hart, the AMW come out to the ring to a big pop, and they say, Hardys, we invited you out here, talk things out. So come on, if you're here at Revolution, come on out and take on it, and let's have a chat. Out come the Hardys, and basically, the Hardys say, like, look, we're this close to being world champions again, and you mess things up. Of course, AMW say the same thing, and and it basically gets to the point where AMW's like, look, over and over, you claim to be the best, and you look past us. We're 4-time tag team champions for a reason. We're not young kids. We're the standard bearers in the tag division right now. Just even though we don't have the belts. So Jeff, Matt, you want in that ring, you want to really prove you're the best, take us on one-on-one and beat us in that ring. And Hardy's like, fine, we can do that anytime you want. And he's like, fine, what about next week? And it looks like the match is agreed, and there's a little bit of tension, but still everybody's a babyface so far, it seems. As this gets an 83. Fun stuff. Then we move forward as we have a fun little match here as Rey Jr. defeats Jonathan Toro in a little over 10 minutes, 9 minutes with the Springboard Hurricanrana. I don't want to say this was a squash because it wasn't a squash, but like Toro gets his spots in, maybe hits, it's a big, a couple big power moves, power slam, clothesline, suplexes. But Rey Jr. eventually takes over and he hits his spots in, springboard, 619, West Coast Pop, Springboard Hurricanrana, 1, 2, 3, and picks a victory pretty easily here over Jonathan Toro here on Revolution as this gets an 80. Rey Jr. gets a 98. Toro still gets a 64, and they have good chemistry, which is helpful. But after the match, Rey Jr. takes the mic and say, RVD, it's pretty simple. I want you one more time, SA, at Starrcade. Because you know, deep down, I was this close to beating you, and if not for the Van Terminator and Paul having distracted things, I would have got you at Bound for Glory. And I beat you last week. So deep down, you know you want to prove yourself to be better. So just accept the match, and we go one-on-one one more time, without that sleazy slimeball Heyman getting involved, and who truly is the best in the business right now. 81, good stuff. And we have, okay, this possibly could have been, well, Eddy Noble might be really good. But yeah, I mean, this is a really good match. Like, it's, Trish and Joanie, against former tag team champions. So even though, like, Busick is a little farther down on the card, she still gets to look impressive here. Of course, Nikita Colt gets to, throw around, suplexes, arch hits, knee strikes, elbows, takedowns, backbreakers, trying to lock in submission holds, Joanie Laurer's, all power, big boots, throwing people around, press slams. Trish's guys coming in with, her quick hits. And eventually, things are breaking down to a big four-way when in come the crowd comes Gail Kim and Allie Danger. Allie with her trusty, a kendo stick, and Gail Kim with a chair. And they just go after both teams. Like, they wallop Sky with a chair shot. One goes after Nikita Colt with a kendo stick. Busick and Joanie come and save, but they get drilled again. And the ref calls for the bell as this gets an 85. Joanie gets a 79. Trish Sky gets an 83. Busick gets a 73. Colt gets an 88. And yeah, we just have a beatdown here until the officials come down as Gail Kim screams, "I'm still the head bitch in charge. You think you get away with this? This is still my ring. This is still my title." And Danger just, is just having fun beating up people until officials break things up. And it looks like Gail Kim and Allie Danger still aren't done with the women, with either the women they were feuding with before, in the form of Joanie Laurer, or now Women's World Champion Nikita Colt, Trish Sky, or even Maxine Busick, as this gets an 81. Then we have a Rock recap focusing on the main event. This gets a 68. And then we have our main event of the evening. Okay, let me see here. Lack of psychology. Oh, I forgot to add a story. Yep, okay. So this could have been 85 or 86 with storyline. So I had, where's the Road Vision notes? Oh, I forgot. Okay, so I meant to put Chuck Palumbo at ringside, and I must have forgot to make that note. But hey, still a really good match. I mean, AJ Styles and Jamie Knoble. This probably would have been like an 86, 87 if I would have added a storyline. And maybe with a little bit, with no bad psych roll. But, with AJ Styles and Jamie Knoble, like, Knoble takes him down, locks him in hold, Styles fights out. Eventually, Styles hits the moonsault DDT, hits his big plancha, fighting, brawling, Pele kick. Knoble fights back, eventually locks him in the trailer hitch. Styles barely gets to the ropes. Styles rolls through, and, eventually, boom, big forearm. Suplexes, another moonsault DDT, and eventually is able to drill him with a Styles Clash 1, 2, 3 for the clean pinfall win. Again, this gets an 81. AJ got a 94. Knoble got an 84, but a fairly straightforward match here just to put over Styles as sort of, the number one contender, and then making the title shot at Starrcade. And what's supposed to happen is basically Styles, after the match, stares down Palumbo, as Palumbo just smirks as he's at ringside, and that finishes the show as this gets an 87. So still, like, not a bad show at all. Just, like, slightly disappointing here. Gotta love some loading. Let me see what you guys heard from my chair being wacky. Okay. So again, if we go to old WCW here, or WWE, to look at what they did for SmackDown. They had Justice defeat Chains. So yeah, Abyss defeated Brian Lee. I'm sure that was a TNA match at some point. Ivory defeated Angel Escura. Steve Richards defeated Samu. Road Animal and Streets of Sobers defeated the Crowd of Funaki, Venus, and Mark Henry. Jackie Gay defeats Shanika in a ladder match to retain the women's title in 61. Shawn Michaels defeats Scott Steiner and Billy Gunn in 98, sure. And Brock Lesnar and Chris Benoit defeat The Undertaker and Regal in a 99. And on the pre-show, we had Marty Jannetty and John Cena team up. Sure. Heat was Heat. Let me see here. Yeah, not really much of a note here. Then we look at our Fed. Well, TV, not really much of note. Rick Michaels defeated Austin Creed. Kenta Suzuki, Cassie O'Reilly. Some people could be some interesting on the main roster eventually. Well, at least some of them. Some of those aren't even part of the roster. Matt Morgan defeated Brett Major. So, I mean, Morgan's slowly getting there. We had Stone Mountain, Austin Creed versus Regen that we signed Kurt Stallings and Rain Man. Let's see here. Onyx defeated Ryan Drago to retain the Junior Heavyweight Championship. And Jason Cross defeated Jimmy Rave in probably like part 8 that was another feud. Then if we look at the women's Dev Fed, we had first, we had Ladies Night, which is like the monthly big show. So we had Emmy Sakura defeat Annette Blanchard in a 54. And Madison Eagles, Madison Sinclair, and Michelle McCool. Triple M defeat Carlo Chambers, Amazing Kong, and Portia Perez in a 48. And we had Miss Molly defeat Cindy Rogers in her goodbye match. And Emily Hosaka defeat Ariel to retain the AEW title in a 76. Then for the weekly show, we had Madison Eagles defeat Carlo Chambers by DQ. Tracy Trailer defeat Amazing Kong in a fun little match. And Ariel defeated Annette Blanchard. And the main event, Michelle McCool and Madison Sinclair defeated Portia Perez and Emmy Sakura. So fun stuff there. Then if we look at what HWA did, let me see here. Anything really of note? Chandler McClure defeated Chris Cage, sure. Barry Bradburn, who's a Regen, defeats Ward Tomaselli. Alex Shelley is still around, winning matches. Matt Striker defeated Excalibur. And yeah, that's really about it. So if we go to OVW to see what they're doing. Let's see here. Andy Douglas defeated BJ Whitmer, sure. Douglas looks he's ready to go on the main roster, possibly. Capitol and Sharkboy defeat the A Squad. Lizzie Ward defeated Beth Phoenix. Dana Arden defeated Joey Ryan. And then on the Saturday show, Tony Mamaluke and BJ Payne won a match. Beth Phoenix defeated Daphne. And yeah, again, not really getting big names in OVW right now, so just it's sort of there. And then if we look around the wrestling world, we go all the way back. Let's see here. Iron, I remember showed you guys that match. Ring of Honor had a big show. I think, yeah, no. Don't remember if I showed you guys this or not, but like it's Ring of Violence. Remember, it's Rob Black owning things, so it's now Ring of Violence. We had Trent Acid defeat Eddie Valentine, Amazing Red. Dixie defeated Alex Shelley, and Icarus defeated Mike Crackerbush to retain the ROH title. Again, it is not the ROH you know of. But Noah had a big show. So, yeah, no. This happened on Wednesday, so I totally showed you guys. Yeah, we had right. Kenta defeated Kikuchi, Ogawa defeated Taue, and Akiyama defeated Takayama. Let's see. Oh, All Japan was the company that had a big show. So, I mean, it's a big show of note. So let's see here. TNT's wrestling there. Let's see what's of note that you guys would care about. Violent Playboys of Hirai and Ira won the World Tag Titles. Kurt Hennig defeated Fuchi. Sure. And a 42, Jesus. Two Gold Scorpio and Hayabusa defeated Dragon Kid and Takeshi Ono. It was probably a solid match. Hines and Barton defeated Suwama and Seiyogo to retain the All Asia Tag Titles. Teokea defeated Taro in a 68. And Kawada defeated Hase in a 74. So yeah, not the best show. They're still getting somehow 20,000 people, but I think that's just like their overness. Like, it takes a while to like go down. Let's see. Outside of that, was there any other big shows that I wanted to show you guys? DR1 had a big show. Let's see here. What will you guys care about? Scott Norton defeated Masato Tanaka. Sure. Hadaka defeated Black Buffalo. So, yeah. Chochiko Muko defeated Laksa Zuka. And Hashimoto defeated Akabono in the main event. And yeah, nobody really on our side showing up things. Stampede had Kings of Wrestling. Okay, Kevin Steen defeated Alex Wright in the main event, and that's really what's of note. And I think that's about it as far as big shows. Yeah, Weekly House Show, Battle Final, Eddie Z. 3CW had a show in Northern England. Nobody of note. CWF, same thing. Yeah. Tyson Deuce defeated Kevin Steen. And Active, he needs some guy named Kenny Omega. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, sort of a quicker show than usual. Not much going on, not as many big angles, I guess. But yeah, that's it for now. So, we're still on the road to Starrcade. Obviously, you can probably guess, much of the Starrcade card here. But, we have the High Horror Havoc. We have the Tag Team Turmoil. We have officially announced, of course, the main event. We have Jack Evans versus Eddy Guerrero. And, lots of other stuff that seems pretty obvious, but is not officially announced yet. But that's it for now. If you enjoyed this, go to give a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content. Most of this series at the moment, hopefully more soon. But that's it for now, so talk later, and adios. Have a good one.